Hi, welcome to Angela's Anything Show. If you're watching this, you're probably at least in high school, I hope. As you enter adulthood, you probably notice that there's tons of really important things you're supposed to be doing that you have no fucking clue how to do. I've thought that a lot in the last few years, and I've often wondered why they don't teach these things to you in middle school, in high school, in elementary school, in college. Prepare me for this shit. I didn't learn how to actually do fractions until I started buying and selling weed. You want an eighth, you want a quarter, all of a sudden it all made perfect sense to me. It's about that practical application. So with that said, I thought I could help you guys by giving you what I consider the definitive list of all the things that you should be taught in school that you are not. And maybe write these down, do some Googling, call your mom, I don't really know. Okay, so the first thing that you're not taught anything about in school is 401k stuff. Even just talking about 401k is boring and I don't care. Oh God, I don't care. But apparently it's like a 401k is basically a way to save money. It's like an instant piggy bank. So when you get paid, your people that have the, it's boring just talking about it. Pre-tax dollars, when do I get it? When is it taxed? Basically, it's like a 401k is good because it's your paycheck before taxes are taken out, which you know is like quite a bit higher. And then of that pre-taxed money, you can take a percentage and put it in a savings. So it's not really like, it's like money that you don't even notice is gone anyway. And then in a lot of places, well, some places, they'll, like the company you work for will sometimes match that 401k, which means that if you save $10,000, they'll match it up to a certain percentage. I would say if you have a 401k option at your job and they match it, you should probably get in on that. If they don't match it, it's like, whatever. I mean, you should still do it. I finally did it, but everyone was like, you don't have a 401k? I'm like, no, I have fucking my own savings account. Suck it. Speaking of things that happen at work that you don't know anything about and have to go call your mom in the broom closet to get info about. Number 2, insurance plans. Wasn't it so much easier when you were just on your parents' insurance and didn't have a care in the world? Well, once you're older and in the workforce, you have to rely on their insurance. And let me tell you, I've had a lot of jobs where they're like, oh, well, look through this paperwork and then figure out what you want. It's like copay, deductible, this, that, this and that. I don't get it. Sometimes there's like 3 options, just go for the one in the middle. Just go for the one in the middle. I just want to know which insurance option is cheap enough where I don't have to pay that big of a copay, but expensive enough where if I'm in the hospital, my life will get saved. Like it's not like shitty, you know? Number 3, stock options. Almost as boring as the last 2 things I discussed. This one's scary because if you actually work somewhere where your stock options could make some money, it's pretty terrifying to think just like me being uneducated about it could squander millions. So basically like a stock option, you get shares in the company and then something happens where you're vesting, you're wearing a vest and then you make money and then you sell them. I'm not quite sure. We've made it out of the boring ass financial secretarial shit. Here's something else that no one knows how to do. Number 4, read a nutrition label. Portion size, people. Portion control. Admittedly, I just learned how to read one like a year ago, but it's like, oh, my portion size is up top. Oh, here's how many whatever is in a portion. Oh, here's my percentage of my daily vitamins. Was I the only one who didn't know how to read that bottom part of the daily percentages? I just figured that one out a few months ago and I'm friggin' stoked. Portion control in America is directly related to the fact that nobody knows how to read the portion size on the nutrition label. Food in general, people are so uneducated about. Number 5, nobody knows how to cook. You have all these BuzzFeed clips and like tasty videos on Facebook where it's like, easiest thing ever, like how to make noodles, and everyone thinks it's like the coolest thing they've ever seen. It's like you're just boiling water. And riding on the coattails of that, number 6, why aren't we taught how to garden in schools? Sure, you can Google all this stuff now, but don't you think it would make so much sense if in elementary school they had a period where it was just like gardening period, or you know, there was a course in high school. Number 7, women's ovulation cycle. This has become important to me as of late because a lot of my friends are having kids or they're on the pill, they're off the pill, blah, 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 the pill. I feel like in this country, women are just told, take the pill because you don't want to get pregnant, you don't want to get pregnant, you'll get pregnant, take the pill. So much fear-mongering. I don't understand why women are fear-mongering to just being on the pill and they're not empowered to educate themselves about their ovulation cycle, which they should completely teach you in health class. There's so many ways to track it. It's really not as easy as people think to get pregnant. You have to be ovulating. And women are not ovulating all month. You're only ovulating like 5 days a week, or 5 days a week. Ugh. I'm not saying to go have unprotected sex willy-nilly. I'm just saying don't be afraid to take your cycle into your own hands. You don't need to be a slave to some pill. And I don't know if the pill is bad for you or not, but like, why take a pill if you don't have to? Okay, I thought we were done with the boring financial stuff, but I forgot to mention my number 8 selection, which is taxes. At this point, you kind of probably should know sort of maybe what you're doing with taxes, or at least know who to send them to, who doesn't know what they're doing, like what I do. I mean like how you claim like 1, 0, blah, 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 blah. I'm always like 0? Ooh. Cross my fingers, wait till April and hope I get a good refund. Or like when you're married, like learning how to file jointly or learning how to file together but separate. Like how do you even learn how to do that? Like why don't they teach you that? I don't get it. I mean, it would be very boring class, but it would be very useful. Number 9, how to refinance your student loans and deal with large amounts of debt. All that stuff is so confusing. It is so terrifying and frustrating. You have no idea what you're doing. You're fresh out of college and now you're paying back all this money. I didn't know what forbearance was. I didn't know what, what's the other one, not forbear. You just don't know any of that stuff and it's so overwhelming and it's like this massive amount of money. God, there were so many phone calls of me crying on the phone with fucking Sally Mae with somebody who hardly even speaks English, and that's not a thing about people that don't speak English. It's just that when you're talking to somebody about your finances, it's really important that you can understand them and they can understand you because you're talking about your money. And then besides that, it's how do you refinance those loans later on when the interest rates are too high? It's very hard. The first time you deal with that stuff shouldn't be when you're actually dealing with it. You should have a game plan. Ugh, so much talking, I'm so tired. Okay, and the last item on my list, number 10 of the 10 things that they don't teach you in school, but they probably should, is how to budget money. I learned like how to plot a box graph or whatever, or a pie chart, or I learned Venn diagrams. I learned about some cool books. I learned some geography that I totally forget, but they never taught me how to budget my money. Luckily, I have a Jewish mother who taught me how to budget my money. They teach you a little bit, I guess, maybe about like a piggy bank, but there's no like every year annual like budgeting money, phase 2, 401k, budgeting money, phase 3, opening a bank account. I didn't know any of that stuff. Maybe that's why everyone's in so much debt. And maybe that's why everyone's so fat, because they didn't teach us any of this stuff. And most of this stuff is food and money. And that's kind of life and sex. Oh my God, ovulation's on there. I covered all the bases. Food, money, and sex. They're not teaching us enough about these things. And that is why we need to make America great again. I'm gonna make America great again with my YouTube channel. So spread this video and show everybody you know. Send this video to somebody maybe in high school and say, hey, heads up, it's gonna be real dark for a while. It's gonna get real dark for you, but you'll be okay. The thing to take from this video is that, well, I didn't know a GD thing about any of this stuff. I'm slowly learning it, and I'm also learning that it doesn't matter because I'll figure it out eventually, because everybody figures it out. Just look around you at all the adults that still have managed to keep themselves alive and even have children. It's terrifying. If they can do it, we can definitely do it, and hopefully this video helps, and hopefully made you laugh a little bit. Thank you for watching this episode of Angel's Anything Show. 10 things they don't teach you in school. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye. If you're in high school, fuck that shit.